JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, judge to dismiss firearm evidence due to shabby police handling. Chief Justice Brian Sykes this morning signaled his intent to dismiss the firearm evidence in relation to a gun that an ex-gangster helped the police to recover due to the shabby handling of the weapon by investigators. One of the prosecution's main witnesses, an ex-member of the One Dun gang, had testified that he had tricked reputed leader Andre Blackman Bryan into giving him the rifle. He testified that he told Bryan that he was going to take it to be repaired, but instead met two police investigators in Portmore, St. Catherine, and handed over the gun. The ex-gangster had reportedly collected the weapon from defendant Royal Taylor. The court heard that the two detective sergeants then took the gun to the Caymanas police station in Portmore, St. Catherine for safekeeping before it was transported to the lab the next day. But when the evidence box with the gun was presented to the court, the label indicated that the weapon was retrieved at Port Royal Station in Kingston. The ballistic officer who had collected the weapon at the lab had indicated that he was told by one of the investigators that was where the gun was handed over. Consequently, during the prosecution's response to the no-case submission for Taylor, Sykes criticized the way in which the gun was handled and blamed the two senior officers for their handling of the weapon. The judge questioned why the officers had stopped at the station, while noting that no reasonable explanation has been advanced as to their reasons. He also questioned why both went to the station but had failed to properly label the weapon, which had no description, instead of leaving it up to an unknown station guard. While recalling the evidence of the lead detective that he had not placed any identifying mark on the weapon or had noted any unique marking, the judge said he cannot accept with any degree of certainty that it was the same weapon that the witness had handed over. Furthermore, Sykes noted that no record was available from the police station to confirm that the two officers had attended on the station with the rifle. The judge, who also took into consideration that the two officers were not rookies, charged that no attention was placed on the details or in doing what they were trained to do. As a result, he told the prosecutor, "Let me put you out of your misery. The evidence is not good enough." Man killed in Manchester after a simple argument. A Manchester man who allegedly chopped to death a 52-year-old man during a dispute in Hibernia district on Tuesday night has turned himself into the police. The deceased has been identified as Ron Whittingham, a resident of Hibernia. Head of the Manchester Police, Superintendent Lloyd Darby, confirmed that the accused man turned himself in midday Wednesday. A police report said about 11:30 p.m., Whittingham and the accused had a dispute at a shop in Hibernia about who was more knowledgeable about places and who had more exposure to different things, during which the accused was reportedly attacked and stabbed with a knife. Police said the accused ran from the shop but was trailed home by Whittingham, where another confrontation ensued. The accused allegedly chopped Whittingham in the head. Whittingham was later pronounced dead. Man arrested after gun and ammo seized in Kingston. One man was arrested for 2 counts of shooting with intent and illegal possession of firearm and ammunition following an incident on Bray Street, Kingston 16 on Tuesday, June 14. Reports from the Elliston Road Police saw that about 5:35 p.m., 2 men had a dispute. One of the men armed himself with a machete. Shortly after, the accused returned with a gun and fired several shots in the direction of the complainant, causing several injuries. The police were summoned and an investigation launched. The suspect was subsequently apprehended, and one Springfield 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 1 9mm round of ammunition seized. The identity of the suspect is being withheld, pending further investigations. 16-year-old shot while attempting to rob licensed farm holder. A 16-year-old male is to face the court on charges of assault with intent to rob and illegal possession of firearm following an incident on Blissett Avenue, Kingston 20 on Tuesday, May 31. Reports are that about 8:30 p.m., the teen and another male traveling on a motorcycle approached a licensed farm holder who was in the process of closing his gate. The motorcyclist allegedly turned off the headlamp on the vehicle. The plane reportedly got off the bike with a gun in his hand, instructing the man not to move. The licensed farm holder pulled his weapon and discharged it at his attackers, who escaped. The teen later turned up at hospital with gunshot wounds. It was subsequently pointed out during an identification parade and later charged. Police arrest murder suspect hours after incident. The St. Catherine South Police arrested a murder suspect just hours after a man was shot dead and another shot and injured on Market Street in Old Harbour, St. Catherine, on Wednesday, June 15. The deceased has been identified as Tashawn Douglas. Reports on the Old Harbour Police are that about 8:30 a.m., armed men made attempts to rob a man in the vicinity of the bus park. The man ran, and the gunmen opened fire in his direction. The two men, who were customers in a bar, received gunshot wounds. The police were summoned and the men taken to hospital, where Douglas was pronounced dead while the other is being treated. The man targeted in the attack escaped unharmed. Hours later, the police apprehended one of the suspects during an operation in Old Harbour. Several men detained following deadly Spanish Town shootings. Several men have been detained in connection with Tuesday's deadly shootings in the Spanish Town Market District in St. Catherine. The men were detained during police military operations. Rival gangsters shot 6 people, killing 2, during the gun battle which started just after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. A third individual was fatally shot by a policeman. The injured persons are said to be in stable condition. On Tuesday, Senior Superintendent of Police Stephanie Lindsay, head of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Corporate Communications Unit, said the violence is a continuation of an intra-gang feud in the One Order gang. There was a tense calm in Spanish Town following the shootings. The streets are void of the usual bustle of activities, as people remain indoors in response to the violence and the 48-hour curfew imposed in a number of hot spots. Some businesses were still shuttered. Dennis Rowbottom, president of the St. Catherine Chamber of Commerce, is encouraging business operators and consumers to come out where possible. Rowbottom, who was speaking Wednesday in an interview, said there's been reassurance from the police and military that extra boots have been out on the ground, so there'll be extra security in the market district. A vendor said that he does not expect business to pick up before Thursday because people are afraid. There are reports of low attendance at some schools in and around Spanish Town. Other institutions such as Homestead Primary and Infant School opted to stay closed and have classes virtually. Principal Sophia Dare said some students would not have been able to attend school based on where they live. She said she's in dialogue with the Minister of Education's regional office to determine what steps to take for the rest of the week. Cyber fraudsters fleece JMMB of $50 million. An organized band of criminals who stole nearly $50 million from an account at JMMB gained access to sensitive personal data through a cyber scheme law enforcement authorities have charged. We can confirm that there is an act of fraud that is currently under investigation. Due to the sensitive nature of the investigations, we will not publicly comment on the details, a JMMB spokesperson said Tuesday evening. However, please be advised that appropriate steps have been taken and additional steps will be taken to protect our organization against acts of fraud. Sources say it's too early to determine if the accused robbers had inside help. 40 unauthorized wire transfers amounting to $46 million were made from the account between February 15 and 22 this year, said the Financial Investigations Division, FID, citing a statement made by the account holder. The account was reportedly emptied over a 10-day period. The cash was disbursed to accounts operated by more than 30 people, mainly from communities in southern St. Andrew, in amounts ranging from $950,000 to $5 million, FID said in a public statement late on Tuesday. The mastermind has not yet been identified, according to sources. It is not yet known who ultimately got the money. These are persons who allowed their accounts to be used and withdrew the funds and either made use of it or gave it to the mastermind, said the source. 5 men who allegedly received cash transfers were apprehended on Tuesday in a series of coordinated operations by the FID and the Police Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Division. Among those arrested is a 21-year-old BPO employee who the FID said is being held on reasonable suspicion of breaches of the so-called lottery scam law. The agency claims that he was providing shelter and privileged client information to one of his co-accused. The others are 2 unemployed men, ages 22 and 23, both of Penwood Crescent addresses. A 25-year-old man who is employed as a warehouse supervisor and resides on Waltham Avenue, and 2 unemployed women, aged 48 and 28, both of Caledonium Crescent. Their names are being withheld pending charges, which could come after a question and answer session with investigators set for today. The $50 million theft reportedly came to light after the holder of the account visited the financial institution to conduct a transaction and discovered that the account had been hijacked, a source disclosed. According to one source, personal data obtained through unauthorized means were used to gain access and make changes that gave the accused fraudsters control of the account, including the ability to change a password. Evidence indicates that the victim's account was compromised by the fraudsters, who were able to change certain security credentials. This resulted in the creation of an online banking profile for the victim, the FID statement said. The swapping of cell phone SIM cards is one of the more common methods used by cybercriminals to easily hijack a customer's bank account. Dane Nicholson, manager for special investigations at the National Commercial Bank, NCB, said. SIM card swapping, he explained, occurs when fraudsters gain access to a mobile phone number and approach the telecoms companies to get a replacement SIM card under the guise that they are the legitimate owner. Other time they present an identification card to support the SIM swap, the NCB executive said. A majority of local financial institutions rely on text messaging and email as part of their authentication or registration processes for internet banking. Consequently, Nicholson wants lawmakers to enact stronger punishment for SIM card swapping because of how easy it is for fraudsters to take over a person's cell phone and the significant financial impact this could mean for customers. They know that at this time it is a slap on the wrist, so they'll continue despite our best efforts, he said, referring to cybercriminals and the current sanctions in the Cybercrime Act. So, if fraudsters get access to your cell phone or your SIM messages, then they can get access to your email. And from getting access to your email, they can either create or take over your internet banking, Nicholson said. 120 new COVID-19 cases. Jamaica reported 120 new cases of COVID-19 on Tuesday, according to the latest statistics from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. This pushed the total number of cases of the virus since the start of the pandemic to 140,874. There were no reported cases of deaths. The death toll remains at 3,091. Of the newly reported cases, there were 70 females and 50 males, with ages ranging from 8 months to 108 years. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew 40, St. James 16, Westmoreland 9, St. Catherine 15, Hanover 7, St. Anne 5, Manchester 1, Trelawney 8, Portland 1, St. Elizabeth 1 and St. Mary 2. St. Thomas and Manchester were the only parishes to record no cases. The country also recorded 168 new recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 88,200. The positivity rate for the latest round of testing was 19.9%. There are 129 people hospitalized, 5 of them critically ill. There are 2,467 confirmed active cases on the island. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.